Can the Underdog do it, Artosis?
Well, it's NesTea, so no, absolutely not.
Okay, all right, we'll solve that.
No. Well, Feast is really good, man. He just went 1-2 against Violet, right? So Violet is one of the best Zergs in the whole world. Feast definitely has a chance. NesTea has shown that he is not unbeatable today already against MVP.
Now, of course, Feast, one of our very young players, only 19 years old. That means not as much stage experience, obviously not as much life experience, but when you get out there on the stage, that's what really counts. So, you know, for Feast to put in a situation against NesTea, the most accomplished Zerg of all time, the legend himself, you really got to ask yourself, you know, can he muster it? And here's an example, for instance, NesTea 29.
Yes.
This is easily one of the oldest, if not the oldest, pro gamers out there.
Look, when Feast was 6 years old, NesTea was a StarCraft pro gamer.
That's actually insane when you put it like that.
Just to put that in perspective, guys, NesTea was playing StarCraft professionally for something like 12 or 13 years.
Yeah.
So,
and
I mean,
when you get a situation like that, what it tells you is that he has had so much experience on the stage, in the booth, with people watching him, playing live, other pro gamers setting him. So this is a big moment for Feast. Even if Feast takes a game off this guy,
it's a big deal.
It means a lot for his future. If he beats NesTea, well then, my God, I don't know what I'm going to do, Artosis.
I don't know what you're going to do. I'm a little bit worried, actually. All right, it's going to go ahead and start Tasteless.
Yes.
Daybreak is our first map, a map we've seen a lot today because it's a great map.
It is a great map. And that map is loading, and it's now loaded, so we're going to throw that up on screen for you. So let me get the names up and the tabs up. In the upper right, the Underdog. He needs your love. He needs your support. Give it up for Feast. And in the bottom left, a man who needs little introduction from the GSL Codas, a 3-time champion. Give it up for NesTea.
All right, Tasteless, what is Feast going to do here against NesTea? Because NesTea, I already know what he's going to do. He's going to go for 3 hatches, 3 bases, because that's what Zerg does against Protoss, unless they're going to do some crazy all-in, which NesTea does more than some Zergs. But I don't expect that here against a foreigner that, realistically, NesTea probably doesn't know.
Yeah, and that is one benefit that Feast has going into this, is let's be totally frank here. NesTea knows nothing about Feast. Entered into this match, excuse me, I let the mouse slip. Entered into this match, he doesn't know what to expect. Maybe Feast, you know, does a lot of cheeses. Maybe he likes to play very standard. So that's something to keep in mind.
Well, you know, lucky for NesTea, Feast just played on stage, so I'm sure his coach watched the game and tried to give him some tips at least on Feast style. But that doesn't mean Feast is still going to do that. Feast is a player that does have a lot of builds. As
you can see here, the scouting probe over here. Just going to go ahead and check out exactly what the Zerg is up to. Meanwhile, back here at Feast base, it looks like we're going to have pretty soon here probably a Forge and Nexus. It all, of course, depends on the timing here of the pool.
That is quite right. You know, with that pool timing, expect the Nexus first, and in fact, there it goes down. Plenty of time to get everything up. You know, you don't want to overmake Zerglings and hope that they have a screwed up build order, because that's just not really going to happen.
So the Forge is coming up here. And I'm sure, as most of you guys know, but there are noobs that are probably not in the seats here at IEM. And they might be wondering, all right, why does he make his buildings out there, you know, in this position? Well, it's all to wall in. He's going to put cannons back here, and he's going to get into a defensive posture. He's going to tech up and make a lot of probes.
That's right. In the meantime, NesTea has taken his 3rd base. It will be taking his natural after the Zerglings clean up that probe, no doubt about it. Making his queen as well. Everything completely standard at this point.
And very soon here, the Zerg sort of forced into this situation. He's going to have to take this base over here. There have been situations we've seen with all-ins where they'll take this hatch, kill the probe, and then do an all-in. Not as common, especially not now in the metagame.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is all as standard as can be. But Tasteless, what do you like on this map, PvZ? Like, what do you want? Do you like 2 base all-ins, or do you like to go for the macro game here? Because it's a kind of a big map. I don't know.
I actually like 2 base all-ins, but that's me. I do think, you know, because of the limited number of situations to take out a Zerg with well, some of these 2-base timings, like let's say you get the Void Rape with the pylon on the low ground, not a good map for that. I do like, for instance, like the Immortal Sentry pushes, you know, Mass Stalker with +2. Those ones are good. You can do the late game, and it's a totally doable thing. My only problem when I play Protoss against a Zerg on this map is the 4th base is fairly inaccessible.
Yeah,
and
it's
I feel
kinda
like
out there.
Even until you get to this base over here, even this base, by the time Zerg gets to that point, because I feel like if Zerg gets a 4th base, getting the 5th is nowhere near as hard. You know?
Yeah.
The 4th base is the hardest thing for the Zerg to get as far as bases go. So I'd like to do 2-base all-ins. What about you?
I don't do all-in stasis. I just play macro games. Yeah, that's all I do.
You just turtle all the time?
Yeah, I turtle all the time, actually.
I'm asking like I don't know it.
Silly guy. All right, so starting to see exactly what these guys are up to. We'll have to watch for Feast's gas timings at his natural. Right now, just making a Stalker, getting that Warp Gate upgrade. No +1 yet. So this definitely could be a 3rd base build. Yeah, when you see that +1 attack, it's definitely going to be some sort of little timing going on. But will we see a Robo pop up? That's kind of what I'm feeling right now from him.
I think we're going to see a Robo pop up. That seems to be the you know, the safest, most well-rounded build that you can actually do you know, these days. Get that Robo out, get some tech, scout. Stargate, of course, also popular, but there's some volatility with Stargate builds because, you know, if you end up getting that Stargate right away and you lose those Stargate units, you've invested a lot of tech into something that will now not be able to scout and not be able to help you in a battle.
Well, he's gone for a Nexus and a Stargate, so it looks to me like he's doing Oz's build. Fnatic Oz, another great player that showed up this weekend. This build is pretty darn greedy, I would say. You know, you go 3 Nexus off 1 Gateway and go into Stargate. Normally, you're going to see 2 Void Rays with this.
Didn't we saw JYP do this as well, right?
We may
I think we did in Codas a little while ago, but yeah, great build as well.
This build, yeah, it's pretty neat, man, because you set up everything in just the right way, and in fact, he is going to go ahead and pressure this 3rd base, showing just how awesome this build is, that he's taken 3 bases, teching and attacking all at once. But right now, NesTea getting speed, a lot of lings, and some roaches. If NesTea decides to go for like mass ling against this, he's going to be sorely disappointed with how that works. You know, when Oz invented this build, that was really a build that doesn't hurt this. He sets up his SimCity just so perfectly, the placement of his buildings, so the Zerglings can't do anything.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Look at this. This cannon completely turtled, can't be touched. Therefore, NesTea, get out. Now, NesTea he's actually making 24 lings, but on top of it, let's see, he has 22 already. So this is a problem right now. This build has effectively forced NesTea into making a ton of lings, a ton of roaches that I don't think are going to be able to work right now. Let's say he gets the roaches right over here, gets to the cannon. Well, you know, he might be able to do a ton of damage, but if you get some force fields up in this area, it's going to be hit or miss. You know?
Yeah, I don't like this choice against this, but it's very interesting because NesTea is friends with Oz, so you would think he knows what to do against this. This is what Stefano did the first time he played against this and just got crushed because of it, but we will see. The lings going towards the 3rd base right now. A lot of them indeed, some good force fields going up. Some lings still getting in, but will they actually do any damage?
They're spilling in now from the bottom. Now the cannon is getting pretty low. If the cannon dies, this build, the fragility of it is really going to be exposed here, and it does go down.
That is a lot of lings left over, Tasteless. NesTea making just the right amount of roaches to actually kill that cannon off so his lings can actually go to town, but some great micros so far from Feast.
While this is going on, he's making more and more lings, teching to Muta. It's really just a Zealot that's actually defending here in this small point here. But, God, man, oh man, you know, I'm blown away. Beast, it looked like he was going to lose that, especially when the cannon went down. Managed to go down into this location down here. Building setup, Artosis, completely perfect.
Yeah, and in fact, he only ended up killing 5 probes with that. He spent so much on it and just really didn't get the returns he wanted. And now with 2 Void Rays out, Feast can walk across the map and start harassing that 4th base of NesTea.
And we see these Void Rays now. They're moving out. And, you know, you're absolutely right, Artosis. There's a lot of damage that he can do. Part of me wants to see him actually take out these Overlords, or I guess the Queen as well, because they're littered all over the map here. And you can see NesTea's retreating, you know, with those Overlords now, trying to hide them as quickly as possible. 2 Queens here, though. That's still not going to be enough to take on these 2 Void Rays if he does it right.
Oh, well, he does have transfusion energy, so Feast
never
is
mind,
going to run just in case.
Good correction.
Yeah, and you know what? NesTea's making 18 mutas right now. That is a lot of mutas. And unfortunately for Feast, he just started Blink and is going double Robo Colossus. This is the ultimate scenario for NesTea. Despite his attack not really doing that much damage, Feast's follow-up is not the right one. In fact, that Observer going to see the mutas.
Okay, so the mutas are out. Now, let's take a look inside of Feast base. Over here, really, it's naked. No cannons. Nothing to defend the probes. Nada. You can see he's just now starting to make this defense over here. But, I don't know, man. This is a lot of mutas. We have the Void Rays over here to defend. Void Ray's not an anti-muta unit, and we're going to see that right now. Actually, excuse me, he has more than enough Stalkers.
Yeah, starting to warp in a lot of them. In fact, he canceled that second Robo the second he saw these mutas, so a really good reaction here from Feast. But still, there's complete map control for NesTea right now.
And I think with that, he's probably going to take he will take a 5th base, or this drone's going to go north. He will be taking a 5th base very soon here. A lot of damage being dealt, but you know what? NesTea really on top of his game here. He's almost maxed out. In fact, he's basically maxed out now. I feel like right now, although Feast has played very well up until now, NesTea's response has been pretty damn good.
Yeah, in fact, Feast has done everything right here. You know, he stopped the Ling attack. He canceled the Robo immediately. He defended against the muta so far, but you're right, NesTea is on top of it, and here he goes into this 3rd base, gonna realize there's too much there. But still, NesTea with 4 bases and a maxed out supply with a ton of mutas, this is just gonna be hard to fight against, even if you play a perfect game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Artosis. NesTea actually slacking a little bit on the creep pushing here. But other than that, I think he's fine.
Yeah. Well, the mutas right now flying around the center of the map. Tastes. He wants to find an in. He wants to get in there, kill off anything he can, whether it's a stray Colossus, a couple Stalkers that shouldn't be where they are, or even a Pylon. Anything he can do with them right now is great because, well, you know, he doesn't really have to macro, does he? He's maxed out already.
Here he comes again. This would be huge. He gets the Forge.
Oh, perfect.
Brilliant. Now let's check the upgrades. As you know, that's the matter of topic.
+2.
+2 to +1 here, and let me get the Zergling here, +1 on the ground. So NesTea still a little bit behind upgrades.
That's right. Now this army of Feast right now. Let's take a look at it. I mean, it's a lot of Zealots, a decent amount of Sentries, 1 Colossus, and mostly Stalkers. So it's still an okay army against what he's fighting, but not perfect. And in fact, these Lings will be taken out very easily while the mutas try to fly for some counter harassment. In fact, going after some of these Phoenixes, killing one of them off, but those Phoenixes, I don't know how useful those really are right now.
Well, they seem to be better for defense than for offense, that's for sure. Meanwhile, Feast now moving out. This is the moment we've been building up to. Feast maxed out, about to attack NesTea. NesTea's mutas over here trying to attack here. Feast, it's going to be a pretty serious trade, Artosis.
Indeed it is, and it could definitely be that base trade scenario that we see a lot in Mutaverse Colossus type tech. That is a huge army for Feast right now, but right now NesTea has a ton of spine crawlers, about 20 of them out on the map. So this army is going to run into severe resistance at some bases.
All right, the spine crawlers, really good for defense here. NesTea may try to come up here and sandwich, waiting for more mutas. We have exactly, oh my God, 49 mutas. Half of NesTea's supply is in mutas here.
Yeah, he has 50 mutas right now. That's 100 spine. Here we go. He's going to go ahead and attack with them. The +2 attack just barely not done, but he realizes he has to save this hatchery no matter what. And in fact, he definitely will, pushing this back so quickly. But wait a minute. A nice blink away by Feast, warping in more Stalkers as well. He's going to need a few more units to hold off this scary army of Feast.
Yeah, right now NesTea turtling pretty hard. Note, 4th place not taken just yet. Meanwhile, the Stalkers warping in. He needs to break this location. If he breaks this, it's bad news. NesTea going for a base trade, Artosis.
That's right. You know, he has a lot of spine crawlers at his natural. He may just try to hold that area while he tries to base trade with his mutas everywhere else. And it might work because he still has 44. He's going to the 3rd base of Feast right now, taking out the cannons, and Feast realizes no way to hold that.
so he's going to lose this base. Meanwhile, Morling's coming in here. They will take out this base, no problem. This base giving up, but oh my god, the Spire's going to go down. All right, so all the mutas he has, that's it.
And now Feast attacking into the natural Tasteless. A lot of spine crawlers there. But that's a huge amount of Stalkers with that plus to attack. He is researching 3-1, but it's not going to come before this game's really already decided.
He can get the core. Smart move. In a base trade, always get the probes. He has links chase over those probes. He gets the Cybernetics core. No more Stalkers. Unit counter, 36, 39 Stalkers too, 46 mutas.
That's right, and in the main base in ST right now, he is making 9 spine crawlers. So he realizes all he needs to do is slow down this army and kill some Stalkers off so his mutas can come back and clean up. Now, will he actually be able to do that? Because right now, Feast has very few buildings left, and it's, as far as a base trade goes, I feel like NesTea definitely in the better spot.
I got to agree with you, Artosis. And if you note, he is going to take out the main, obviously, but everything else here, look, extractors here. Remember, guys, when you win a game with StarCraft, you destroy their buildings. So both guys, basically in a race against time, the mutas will take out the main. There's a hidden pylon here. What else is there? One other one over here. I don't see this looking too good for Feast, although Feast played very well.
Well, NesTea needs to actually target down the nexus of Feast right now so he can find all the buildings. That's the most important thing. You get that counter going so that you know where everything is. In fact, he is going to go ahead and target down. But let's not forget, Feast still has 1,500 minerals and 2 probes left alive with his army. So he can actually go ahead and make another nexus if he wants to try to mask where his stuff is.
Yeah, the only problem is he can't make additional probes for a long period of time. So even if he makes that extra nexus, there's a problem involved there. And as you can see now, NesTea sees the buildings that are left. And he doesn't see the army, of course, but he doesn't have to deal with this army if he doesn't want to. This is almost checkmate.
Yeah. He just has to run around right now, and in fact, that's what he's going to do. I think, no, he's going to actually attack into this. I'm actually very surprised. Those Colossus will erase all the Zerglings in a matter of seconds. Does he have enough mutas? It doesn't look like that was a big blunder by NesTea.
Meanwhile, going up to the north, he's going to go ahead and face off against these pylons. Boom. Takes that out. What's left? Stray Immortal, 2 of pylons here. These structures over here. I just don't see this being anything other than, you know, a win for NesTea, Artosis.
Well, you know, he still does have money, so stranger things have happened. He's thrown up nexuses all over the place so that he won't be revealed anymore. There are a couple pylons around that half of his mutas are going to go kill, and then all he has to do is find that last nexus.
Now, if he can have these mutas run into the Stalkers and reduce the Stalker count significantly, that's the only way that Feast can win.
Well, right now, Feast is doing a great job moving his Stalkers around, trying to catch these mutas. We're definitely going to have to see NesTea pull out of there a little bit. So right now, Feast has to keep his Stalkers right near this nexus. This is his last building, and he has only 1 probe left. He can't send that out on the map somewhere, because if he loses it, NesTea, I mean, it should just win. He has plenty of drones mining from his last hatchery.
All right, he's regrouping now. This is literally the last structure on the map for Protoss. And he's making a few pylons, which he's going to need to do as well. But, oh my god, that probe gets hit.
Yeah, if that probe dies, then Feast just sits there and hopes for a draw because he can't mine anymore.
The Nexus finishes the 2 groups of mutas.
Now, does he suicide on this Nexus? That's the question, isn't it? And, oh, NesTea getting a little bit sloppy. You know, when you're playing against an army like this, Tasteless, he can't split up his Stalkers into 2 groups. The mutas would kill anything but this full army, basically. So NesTea just kind of has to sit back and wait for Feast to make a mistake. He can't rebuild his economy with just 1 probe.
All right, as you can see here, it's such a funky situation. He does have 1. Oh, hold that thought. He's going to attack now. That's questionable. 39 mutas now. Remember, every unit is so precious in a base trade.
Oh, absolutely.
It is so precious.
It truly is. And in fact, at this point, I feel like he should probably send like a Colossus out or a Zealot, or actually all of his Zealots. In fact, he's going to send some Stalkers down. They're going towards NesTea's last base here. Feast might actually still be able to pull this out if NesTea makes a mistake.
Well, is this enough mutas to, Stalkers to hold up these mutas? I don't know.
Well, he's going to go ahead and see Tasteless targeting down the sentries right away so that they can't use Guardian Shield. Now going after these Stalkers, Feast is blinking as quickly as he can, but as mentioned before, he needed his full army there to stop them. NesTea does end up killing it, and GG. Wow, that was actually really close, Tasteless.
Damn, cool game. You know, it's funny because that's such a hard position to play from for both sides. You never get to see the full clump of Stalkers when you're the Zerg.
Yeah.
So you don't actually know for sure, you know, if you engage that, will you just lose your whole army?
Yeah.
So they were both playing very well. I do feel like, honestly, he should have sent anything but the Stalkers to that base.
Yeah, no, he had
send
3 Zealots in his army.
Yeah.
You send 3 Zealots, you have 8 more Stalkers there. 22 plus 2 Stalkers against 39 plus 2 Mutas. Well, the Mutas, it's hard to say exactly how that goes, but with good Blink Micro, good Guardian Shields, maybe Feast holds on there.
The game could have gone on, but I mean, base trade scenarios easily